Hello everyone, my name is Jesse and welcome back to a very requested Bakugan video. Today we're going to be talking about Helios and of his evolution line throughout the show and all that good stuff. So I have made a video on this previously. I've kind of made two videos, but I felt like there's also a need for an updated video now that I have everything. So we're going to be talking about that. I specifically kind of want to hit on Helios's ability cards in the show because they're really cool. But yeah, I want to go through each Helios and talk about them. I also want to start a maybe semi-controversial opinion, but after finally watching all of Helios in the show, I honestly think that if Drago didn't have, his Infinity Core and all this plot armor, Helios would be stronger. I think that Helios had the coolest story arc and actually worked to get his power and his strength, and I think it shows off. You can see him at Titanium Surge, he was continuously coming in and helping Dan and their team. He showed some incredible power, and I think that makes him, in my opinion, the strongest Bakugan besides Drago, because Drago had all the plot armor. Without Drago's plot armor and Infinity Core and stuff, I think that Helios would be the strongest. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, for today's episode, we're going to be using a card called Worn Stone, featuring Helios here. And it says, right there, if the Bakugan with the lowest printed G power wins is any version of Ingram or Helios, then it gets 150 Gs. So we're going to be using this to take a look at all the Bakugan. First up, we have Viper Helios, who is my favorite evolution besides maybe Infinity. I don't know. That's debatable. But I really like Helios' design here. It's the Hex version, so the Japanese exclusive. Their version of the anime accurate colors. So we've got these, super cool blue feet here. In the show, they were more silver. I'll pull up pictures as well. But really, really cool there. And we're going to pop them open. You can also move his horn a little bit to keep his mouth open right there. I just think Helios is very intimidating in ball form, especially this one right here. His wings right here, I really like the design of those. It's just, I don't know, it's just really neat. He's got 480 Gs there, and just overall really, really sick Bakugan. I'll pull up pictures right here of what he looks like in the show, so you can take a look there. And I do, like I mentioned in the intro, I want to talk about the ability cards that's in the game, because they're really cool. So we've got General Quasar, which is the coolest name ever, and it kind of follows for the rest of the show, but that one adds 200 Gs to Viper Helios. But you've got names like Void Stream, Nova Spiral, Maximum Quasar, and then you've even got the forbidden ability cards like Nova Blazer X. I just think those are really, really cool. Helios also has his trap Bakugan, which is Metal Fencer. I don't have Metal Fencer. I guess I should get him just to kind of complete his set. It's not the forefront of my objectives right now, but it would be cool to have him. But he latches onto the back here and just, assists Helios in battle and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, just the design is really, really awesome. Even his teeth are blue kind of right there. I guess that's his version of the Japanese version for the metal, the silver bits. But yeah, really cool. Love Helios a lot. Up next is Cyborg Helios, which in my opinion has a very lackluster design as a toy form, hence why I painted it. This was actually my first custom paint, and I'm pretty proud of it. I've done some touch-ups on it in a while ago, so I made them a little bit better, but overall, I really like this Cyborg Helios custom paint design. He doesn't open well, and it's actually not got anything to do with the paint. It's just Cyborg Helios is mid, so he doesn't really open all that well. But here he is in all his glory. I opted to keep these little green pieces that are actually on the original Pyrus version, just because I thought they were cool and added a little bit of flair. He is 680 Gs, so super, super strong compared to Viper Helios there, and honestly even my MK2, so that's really awesome. I'm going to leave him right here and go through a couple different pictures while I read off some information. So essentially, Helios upgraded. He got mechanical parts to try and get stronger than Drago to be the ultimate Bakugan, so he upgraded. This is where you can also see his Max's Helios set where he combines. I used to own it. I don't own it anymore. I just think it's too big, and it was too bulky for the collection, so I sold it. but there is a version of that you can take a look at, and it just shows, you know, how strong you can get with other Bakugan. But he's also got some really, really cool ability card names. So we have Diffuse Quasar, we have Farbas, Explosion, Lambda, Chaos Shot Cannon. Like, I just think those names are so cool. He's also got some weaknesses, which is kind of interesting. If Spectra doesn't activate Farbas when Cyborg Helios is weakened, his body can turn bitter and suffer cruel damage and faint. So, like, it's kind of like Pokemon. Like, if you don't meet certain requirements, like, it backfires on you, which is really, really cool. Also, a couple cool, like, trivia things. Cyborg Helios was first released as Helios in Baku Bronze series as a Pyrus with 600. Then there's the special attack one, which is the Turbine one, which you can actually, like, ripcord, which is really cool. They brought him back for Mectanium Surge, but he only was available in Darkus and as a Baku Evolutions of Bakugan versus Marvel with Iron Man. So really interesting. And then, of course, you know, the Maxis Helios set came in like a dark gray. There's also the Frost version, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so despite how kind of lackluster I think he looks as a ball form, his history is really cool. And the amount of like use in the show he had was also really, really awesome. Yeah, I think also his mouth does the same thing Viper's does. Yeah, you can like close his horn some to open his mouth, which is really cool. All right, and up next is Helios MK2, which is the third evolution of Helios. This is when he basically went full cyborg in order to try and become the ultimate Bakugan and defeat Drago. So you see him here, he's got feet and a horn. Go and pop him open. Oop, got a little stuck. He's got these cool little jet boosters right here, which I actually love. They're really nice addition. This specific one is the like most anime accurate you can get. It's got like the black instead of the gray. 540 Gs. So I don't have the battle gear because obviously it's not compatible, but if you're curious, his battle gear is Twin Destructor. Also, the Zucanator, he uses them both. And there's also like certain times where like Helios slightly upgrades. He's not exactly evolved, but he upgrades in this show, so he'll get these little hands. I'll show pictures of that as well. So I really like that. I think it's cool. Jet Core was also made from Helios, if I'm remembering all that right. And he's got some really cool ability card names as well. So we've got Dragon Pincer, we've got Farbas EM, Ragnarok Cannon, Hyper Electric Cannon, Pulsing Twister, all these really, really cool names. And of course, you know, the wiki here says, unlike other mechanical Bakugan, Helios Mark II only has one weakness. And it says, when Farbas EM will not work against very powerful abilities like Helix Dragonoid's Galactic Dragon, Helios will automatically lose the battle because of his safety protocols. So it's interesting that like Helios is like super strong and can like almost regenerate his health. Like he literally regenerates because of his mechanical parts. But if the ability is too strong, his body will just shut down and be like, nope, this is dangerous. You can't fight anymore. I just think that's so cool. And it's kind of overlooked in this show. Like, I don't think that's something you see very obviously, but I think that's really awesome. And so, yeah, I just think, like, overall, like, he's obviously a fan favorite. It's really cool. In the show, he just made a great villain, and I also like how he kind of comes to the good side. Really cool. And it just sets up for Mectanium Surge so well, which in my opinion, and I've also watched it the most recently, but in my opinion, like, there's a lot to Infinity Helios, and I want to talk about it, so let's go ahead and get into them. Alright, so up next is Infinity Helios. Just an awesome Bakugan overall. I'm going to go ahead and pop him out and get all his different pieces. Let's see. His feet are really awkward, but there we go. Am I missing anything? Nope, I think I'm good. Alright, that is Infinity Helios here. Let's adjust his feet some. And I really like Infinity Helios because, like, the way they introduce him is so cool. I think how he switches from Pyrus to Darkus is really cool. The quote is... What is the quote?
Can't a Bakugan change?
Yes. In order to move forward, one must evolve. For Helios, that meant trading fire for darkness to become Darkus Infinity Helios!
And so, yeah, just like, you know, all the other cool ability cards. You know, now we've got Farbus Infinity, which repairs all damage done to Infinity Helios and increases his defense by 120. We've got, of course, Destroy Quasar again. We've got one called Warfire, Ragnarok Buster, Bolting Breaker, Battle Warrior, and Mauser Impact. Like, those names are so cool. I love them. We've also got his Baku Nano here, which is Bombaplode, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and it doesn't look anything like it does in the show. I kind of just set it on here, and it kind of sort of bends. It's really awkward, actually, but it should, if you get it on him right, so I can get it, like lays on top of him like this. So it doesn't look anything like it in the show. Like, the show's is so cool. But this one's a little lackluster, so it's not my favorite by any means. But one thing that's curious is that the show doesn't mention is Helios has like wheel here, so you can actually pick the G power on him, which I think is really, really awesome. You can't actually, like, it doesn't really mention it in the show, but in the game you can actually spin the wheel. There's a little arrow here so that you can choose what G power you want. So if you want him kind of weak, you know, if I want him at 380 Gs, boom, I can have him there and play him as that. Or I can have him at, you know, a higher G power, like, let's see, we'll do 680. And so, yeah, so now he's at 680. So I think, like, if I wanted a weaker Bakugan, like, you know, the lowest printed G power for Helios would probably work okay with this card. I'm not quite sure how the Mectanium Surge rules would work. But, yeah, I just think that's actually a neat gimmick to add on to him. Some trivia here. So Infinity Helios is the only Bakugan to permanently change his attribute. However, names of his abilities still resemble Pyrus. Infinity Helios seems to have more natural elements than Cyborg Helios or Helios MK2, with his mechanical left eye and hand being replaced with organic ones. Infinity Helios is the second most evolved Bakugan, having 3 evolutions. Only Drago has more evolutions, with a total of 11 evolutions. And then another thing I want to bring up is, I'll leave Helios in the background here, is Mutant Helios. So in the show, they can combine to form Baku Mutants. So if I can get him out. And of course, this is like the design for Mutant Helios here. Let me get him open really quick. Alright, and yeah, this is like the Baku Mutant version of him. So they combine, obviously, and they get like special powers by combining with like Talion or Mercury Dragonoid. And like one of my favorite scenes for some reason is when Helios and Talion swap. And Helios gets, like, Talion's legs, and he's, like, jumping. He's like, you know, why do I have these chicken legs? But, like, it's cool because he looks like a boxer, and he's, like, ready to go. I don't know why I love that scene so much, but that one really stuck out to me. I just think that's cool, and the gimmick's really awesome because, you know, swapping parts is pretty cool. And it just makes for such unique gameplay. There's just so many different variations of Infinity Helios, you know, with the G-Power and the attributes. I just think he's a really good one to have for a collection, or if you're, especially if you're gonna brawl, because the manipulation and use you can have with them is really, really nice. You know, you can basically pick whatever Bakugan you want just by using Helios. Really cool. And yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Just want to do a quick update on my Helios collection and just give you guys some cool information on him, because I really think he's one of the strongest and coolest Bakugan to collect. So I highly recommend him. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, and of course subscribe for more awesome content. My name is Jesse. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.